So I'm assuming you can hear me. I hope so anyways. So you're having trouble coloring, digital coloring, like transition from colored pencil to digital? Also just in general, like it doesn't matter what you're doing, you just get to the color and you're like, color. Well, I'll ask this. How much do you know about the color wheel? Because there's so much cheating you can do with just that once my screen catches up to Photoshop here. Like, well, I guess I should put it this way. Are you teaching yourself? Have you ever had a traditional art class in any sense? Or are you doing what a lot of us do and learning from others on the internet and books and such? So, well, I'll just start babbling about color. And so you just never have tried the coloring thing. Okay, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That is respectable. All right, I'm going to... Ooh, small brush, small brush. There we go. So, if I've got a little friend here. Yeah, that's a really horrible eyeball. Still have that weird eraser. Ah, no, we're not doing weird erasers today. Had enough of that. If you've got something and you're coloring, I'm assuming you're trying to color faces or heads, or like what's your preferred topic? Because some things you do treat a little differently. Like if I was drawing a car, for example, which I avoid like the plague because I'm terrible at vehicles, as opposed to something that's organic, like a tree or an animal or a person. They're going to be very different than something that's either shiny or wet or anything like that. Okay, so if you're going to do digital coloring, layers are going to be your best friend. And don't beat yourself up if it looks weird. All art goes through an ugly phase, like those awkward teenage years. It's exactly what it does. It's a phase. All right. And I actually learned one cool trick to play with color. I learned from a video game guy who used to work for a company called Cyan. They made Myst back in the day. I don't remember what they're working on now. That's probably something awesome. What one artist showed me, or did, is they would shade something in black and white. You know what? I'm just gonna cheat and do this really quick and dirty, so bear with me. They would just, they'd get their shading. The picture was essentially in black and white. Did I make this on a new layer? No, I did not. So if you've got your line work, keep it on its own layer. Draw your picture in black and white or in grayscale, which I'm assuming if you like to doodle but you don't like the coloring part, that's not too bad for you. Easy peasy, comparatively. A little bit of shadow here. Da, da, da. There's some shadows there. Okay, so if you get your shadows in, and then you've got to figure out your base color. What you do is I'm making a new layer, and I'm going to pick, why not? It's bright and minty. I'm doing a lot of mint stuff lately. And just at 100%, build this bad boy in. I don't really care if it's outside the lines for this. Now, here's where digital has an advantage over pencil and paper, because you can change your mind as much as you want. Okay, so I've got this in here. Now, there's shadow underneath. I just can't see it. But if I go to my blending mode and I change this to color, oh, look at that. What it does is now my shadows come through without me having to draw the shadows, and it gives me a basic idea. So if I sat down on this layer now, and I've got white for highlight, and I'm going to drop my opacity to 30 again so I don't make it look like the second coming of the sun. What I can do now is just draw with white and grays. I wouldn't draw with pure black because the color over pure black starts to look really, really weird quickly. And I wouldn't draw with white on 100% because, again, it burns out pretty bad. Not all colors work with this technique. I would say bright yellows and really bright reds, they like to explode. You get weird, funny, wait, I never intended for that to happen things. So all I've done, if I take this off, is this is just grayscale. There is no mystery here. It's just my highlights are here, my shadows are here. Whoop-de-doo. If I want to go in and make some things a little darker, if I want to sit here and fiddle with this for hours on end, I can. You know, no harm, no foul there. And this is a great way to get into coloring without making yourself nuts. And then this layer here, if I decide, you know what, I don't like that green. It's too green. It's weird. I can grab a different color and just paint at 100%. And I've been told I talk fast, so I do apologize. Wait, I've done something weird. What have I done weird? Oh, I did that. There we go. So now I can just go back in, color over that green with this blue color, and now I can change my mind as much as I want. Or if you're feeling particularly creative, you don't have to color over the whole thing. Let's say it's like, you know, maybe this part's this, and then maybe he's got, you know, this part of its face has blue on it. So it's almost like a pre-shaded coloring book. So you can practice getting used to colors that you are comfortable with and experimenting with, you know, if you say you hate it a lot and you want to change your mind all you want, go for it. You can. I can go in here and, oh, I'm probably going to make my computer mad. Let's watch it get angry. Yep. This thing is zoomed out like crazy. Reduce the size. There we go. There we go. Now she's happy. So if I go in now I can blend this till Kingdom Come. And I can make a really colorful dragon with very little effort on my part. And if you just want, you know, quick getting used to it, making yourself happy results, this is not a bad way to go, especially if you're not sure what final colors you're going to use. This is a really nice technique. A lot of video game movie designers, anything where they have to draw the characters out first, the artist who's working on it does not get to make the final say. That belongs to their boss. And now I'm blending my shading a little bit. So their boss could come in and say, you know, we did market research and we found out that if we use this particular color on this character, it's not selling well. So they'll tell them go and make 14 or 15 or 20 variations on the color they chose. So There you go. So this technique is what a lot of them use, where they again they draw the character in grayscale, and then they add the color after the fact, because their boss, or they themselves, if they're the designer, may decide, you know what, I don't like what I did. It's not communicating what I wanted to get across as well. So there is absolutely no shame in doing it this method, unless you're absolutely sure, without any doubt, that, like, I'm gonna make that eye orange. Okay, I'm now committed. This eye is orange. And then I'll do all my shading and highlighting from there. It just goes from there. Does that help you with your question a little bit? Is there a specific concern I didn't address? Cool. And again, this technique, it's not like it's beginners only. Yeah, layers are your best friend. Don't disregard them. A lot of people I see when they're doing Photoshop or Gimp or Paint or whatever you're using, they either try to work always all on one layer, or they don't break up the things that should be broken up. And like, I have all these colors on one layer. Could I have broken them up? Yeah, I put the eye on a separate layer because, well, I'm doing really specific stuff with the eye. I don't want to have a huge wall of regret. Yeah. And again, if I draw something and I want it to show through, this is on normal. If you're scanning a picture in, all you do is change this to multiply, and the lines go right through, and your white page is gone. So if you accidentally draw on a white layer because that's what you're more comfortable with, the layer modes, the blending modes are the greatest thing known to man. Yeah, and it's okay if things are a little rough. There's kind of an art movement right now that, things don't have to be flawless. Things are, get a little chunky, a little uneven, but there's some beauty in that too. So don't beat yourself up over it. Oh no, this line isn't perfect. Who cares? If someone is upset about a line not being perfect, they better be paying you gobs of money to justify that. Mm. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of a weird coloring thing that I got going on there, but that's okay. Weird is all right. The nice thing is too is if this dragon, the gray one that you do underneath is perfect, if you hold down Option, and this works on Gimp and Photoshop. I haven't tried it on Painter in a long time, but if I click this button, hello. Oh, that's because it's see-through. Well, if I had been good and actually filled in my dragon with gray, for example, if I turn all this off, and if I get rid of this, you see there's a lot of the squares showing through. If I had sat down and painted the dragon in with black and white perfectly, all the grays perfect, then I could tell it to limit it, and what it'll do is trim off all the excess. But I didn't do that because I was being quick and lazy, but that's okay. I think I'm going to add something to this. Why not? Why not? Adding things. See, I want this under. Yeah. No, I use this color already. Color wheel tips. If you're not sure how to make something pop, you notice this dragon is mostly blues and greens. if you look on the color wheel, the opposite of blue and green is going to be in the oranges to reds. So since I made his eye this reddish orange color, it will pop without making my dragon look dull. So if you use just a hint of a complementary color, that's a color on the opposite end of the color wheel, it'll show you. And if you're not sure what that color is, there is, I believe if I press Command I or Control I, that's the invert. So this color, here's its exact opposite. So if you're not sure, use the same color, press Command I, and boom, it's now the opposite, and it'll look great, which now I'm curious. I want to know how close I was. Press Command I. Oh, it's a little pinkish, but it's okay. I'll give you the opposite of that. See, I want red orange, but I want maybe yellowy. Why not? And the same technique can be used here. If I have this, and then I pop the, actually I'm going to limit this one because I can, you know, yellow on it, but it's not having the right effect. I can change this blending mode to these other ones. Let's try color. Nope. Color is not the one that works. How about hue? No. How about overlay? Oh yeah, there we go. So that's what it would look like if yellow light was on it, and you can play with how much you do and do not see through. You know, there's nothing wrong with cheating, friend. I cheat constantly. Art is the one place you can cheat and not get in trouble for it. You see, if I lighten up my yellow a little bit, it just makes a slightly brighter edge. If I put pure white on here, it might do something funny. How funny is it? Oh, it's that funny. But hey, no one said that it had to be perfect, or that you had to slave away trying to find the right color and make yourself absolutely bonkers just doing something simple that you just wanted to do for fun. And something else you can do as well in Photoshop, these are adjustment filters. So if I put an adjustment filter on these little crest on here, and I can go in and go to hue and saturation, and I can sit here and alter. All I have to do is just slide back and forth. This is on master, and this is one of those everyone thinks it's too complicated to use. It's not. Just sit here and find the color I like. You know, kind of like it green. And I can make it more vivid and burn out my screen, or I can dull it down by moving it towards the gray, lighter. Oh, now he's haunted. Is that speaking to me? No, it's not speaking to me. Not speaking to me enough anyways. If you hit colorize, that will just tint it the color instead of actually changing the color. I don't want to tint it. So there's yet another cheat, and here's the nice thing in Photoshop. If you look on my layers section when it shows up, you know, do I upload? Yes, I put it on YouTube. I've had some issues with sound where apparently my microphone's been cracking. I have a YouTube channel. A lot of it right now doesn't have too much talking, but I do teach for a living, so I like to help people who are learning. So if you're working on something and you get stuck, hey, leave me a message and say, I'm trying to do this, I don't know how, and I can help you out as best I can. I'm going to clean up that line because it's a bit too messy. But yeah, the YouTube channel is Doodles'n'Dragons Inc. It's the same name. Makes things nice and easy. Well, at least in theory, it makes things nice and easy. Oh yeah. I've been using Photoshop for way too long, so I've made all the mistakes that everyone else is going, I keep doing this and it goes wrong. Yeah, I know. I've done it. No shame in that. I've done it. I've totally done it. It was an unfortunate thing. Let's see. Shadow, shadow, shadow. Add a shadow color to this. Why not? Whoa. Did I add this? Oh, I didn't make a new layer. See, mistakes abound. Where is it? Oh, it's underneath the hue saturation. See? See? Mistakes everywhere. Is this my line layer? Yeah. Be good and actually label my layers. Line, eye, skin. Oh, which one's this? Oh. There's nothing actually on that layer. Cool. There we go. My background is boring. Ooh, bad idea. I forgot this dragon has that background thing going on. Can't do that. That's okay though. Alrighty. So hopefully that will help you with making decisions about colors and whatnot. I'll pop this video up onto the YouTube channel. It'll probably take an hour to pop up, but that's okay. That's still not too long. There we go. Save that so I have it for later. So that way, in case, you know, forgets and all that. Alrighty. I think that's all I have for right now, unless you guys have any other questions or things you want to know how to make happen. Alrighty. Well, that's as cleaned up as I'm going to bother with this one. Save, 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 because everything and can always go wrong. Save a bajillion times over. There we go. Cool. Well, you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining us. And again, we have a Facebook page, Doodles and Dragons Inc., and we also have a YouTube channel. So this video will be up there later if you need it, and you can check us out there. And if you come up with other questions and I'm not online and you run into a tricky area or a problem, go ahead and leave your question up there, and I will leave you a video explaining as best I can, at least, on how to fix that. And I know this says rock practice, and this is definitely not a rock right now, is it? Oh well, internet irony. Have a great time.